The Chancellor is expected to announce childcare reforms in his spring budget tomorrow, with parents on universal credit likely to get more help.
Some families, you may be among them, spending as much as 80% of their take-home pay on care for their children. We spoke to one working mother who took the very difficult decision to terminate her unplanned pregnancy because she simply could not afford the costs of more childcare. Jess spoke to us anonymously about her situation.
Over the 4 years of my son being at nursery, we paid over £50,000 for him to go to nursery, for me to go to work. In February this year, I found out I was pregnant. Unfortunately, I had to make the most horrific, harrowing, horrendous decision to contact British Pregnancy Abortion Service, BPAS, to support the medical termination of the child. It was incredibly traumatic at the time, as you'd imagine. However, what really stood with me was the unjust unfairness of the situation, and that really got me incredibly upset and frustrated that, as somebody that has done everything that the UK government and society asked you to do. So I went to school, I went to college, I went to university, I paid back my student loan in my 20s, I've brought up my son to a good school, yet I can't afford to have another child due to current childcare costs.
Well, we can hear how heartbreaking that decision was in that working mum's voice. Let's speak now to Jolie Brearley, who founded the charity Pregnant Then Screwed. And that's the full name of your charity, Jolie, because, well, explain why. Is it because you reflect the fact that working mums, in particular, are not fairly treated?
Exactly that. We represent the motherhood penalty, so the many barriers that women encounter when they're trying to have children and a career, and childcare is one of those barriers.
And in a survey that you did last year, that individual is not in any sense in the minority. 6 in 10 women who've had an abortion claim that childcare costs influence their decision to have that termination.
I mean, it's just devastating, isn't it? And I think as a country, we should be ashamed that we've got to this position where women are terminating wanted pregnancies because we have a dysfunctional childcare system that is so unaffordable. We have now the 3rd most expensive childcare system in the world. It costs on average £15,000 for a childcare place. In London, it's £19,000. Families simply cannot afford that. So it means they're being pushed into poverty, or it means they're having fewer children than they would otherwise want to. And we have a baby problem in this country. We are not reproducing at the rate we should be to keep the economy going.
Are you saying that these were planned children? These are women who wanted to expand their family, but their circumstances changed when they discovered that they were pregnant, that led to them having to make this, as our working mum in that film described, a horrific decision?
These are mothers. The women that we surveyed are mothers. So they already have a child. They understand the barriers to them being able to have children and a career and earn a living. And so when they get pregnant again, they look at those barriers, the increasing cost of fuel, the increasing cost of housing and food, and they think this just doesn't make sense. I'm going to have to leave my job. We're going to have to lose our house, or I'm not going to be able to put food on the table. So I have to make this devastating decision.
There are lots of mums watching our programme, dads as well, who are struggling really hard at the moment with bills and the cost of childcare, with all the expenses of having their children. And they may not, in their own lives, have made the decision that our interviewer made to have a termination, but they're struggling really hard. What can we do to ease the pressure for them?
So what we need is an investment in the childcare sector. So the sector itself is crumbling. It's collapsing before our very eyes. We've seen more than 5,000 providers close in the last year. So we need the government to invest in this sector. We are way behind other countries on this. It's actually embarrassing if we compare us to other countries. They understand that investing in childcare is an investment in the economy, it's an investment in families. So tomorrow, what we really want to see is 1.75 billion invested in the childcare sector so we can bridge that gap between government funding and the cost to providers to deliver childcare places so that this sector can start to heal and repair, and then we can start to bring costs down for parents.
And what do you think are the chances of that? We understand that there might be something for those on universal credit. It will be easier to claim for childcare costs. Also, what is happening with the ratio of carers to children? Because, of course, if you increase the number of children that one carer can look after, then presumably that can bring down the cost for everybody.
So with universal credit, we very much welcome these changes. We've been asking for this for years, as have many other charities. A group of single parents took the government to court over this. So we're a bit confused about why it's taken so long for them to make these amends so that you don't have to pay childcare up front. In terms of the ratios, this is not the way to go. Right. There is no evidence at all that this will bring costs down. In fact, only 2% of providers said that if it does reduce their costs, they will pass those on to parents. There is evidence it will absolutely reduce the quality of provision, and there is evidence that we will lose more staff as a result because they will have more work to do on the same poverty wages that they were on previously. So this is not the way to go, increasing ratios.
Thank you so much for being with us. It's a massive issue for our audience, and I know that it's something that will be keenly watched in tomorrow's budget. The Department of Education told Good Morning Britain they have spent more than 20 billion over the last 5 years to support families with the cost of childcare, adding that working parents on universal credit can claim back up to 85% of their childcare costs. We understand that from tomorrow that won't be a claim back, that will be paid up front, which would be a significant difference. Ed, I just want to ask you, if you can put yourself in expert mode rather than presenter mode, the amount that Pregnant and Screwed are asking for, almost 2 billion, likely in the budget for childcare?
I don't think it's likely to happen tomorrow, because I think the moment the government doesn't feel is that they've got money to give away. But at the moment, the economy is being held back by a shortage of people going out to work. We've got huge vacancies, and we know that it has become more expensive and more difficult for young parents to get back to work because of the cost of childcare. So actually, taking a 10-year view, the investment in childcare now will help the economy from a jobs point of view. The other thing, though, is all the evidence is if you get children interacting with each other and learning when they're 2, 3 and 4, the long-term impact on the economy is great. I have to say, this is a personal point of view. I thought Sure Start was brilliant. It was terrible the way it's been cut back. The government is now starting to say they want to put back that investment in the early years, and let's hope they get on with it.
Yeah.